Welcome back to No Filter Dose. Tonight's caller is a 36-year-old woman who's been speaking on Kevin across other platforms without fully watching his content. She accuses him of limiting black women's options and being unfair, but can't back it up when pressed. Kevin walks her through facts, accountability, marriage stats, and personal responsibility. Watch it all the way through, hit like, subscribe, and make sure you show support to Kevin's original channel because we've got to keep his legacy alive.
I've heard you on multiple panels, multiple platforms, speaking extremely rudely, ill of me, very pejoratively. Why?
I mean, I listen to Crystal and Karis, and I listen to Crystal Swirls. I'm more kind of like on their side, you know, and
That's
even you
fine,
admitted,
but the things you've said about me, you've been very insulting, ma'am. And do you even watch my content, or do you listen to what other people say?
Yeah, I listened to what some of the other women said about you on their platform.
So and you think that's appropriate?
I don't think it's appropriate, no, but I do kind of agree of where they're coming from because they tell black women to open up their options, and I think on this channel, I just don't think it's realistic. Some of the stuff you say,
hold on. Listen to what you're about to say. You don't watch my content. You don't know what I talk about.
Actually, I do watch your content.
Ma'am, I've listened to the things you said on platforms, and you've been outright lying about me. You watch Crystal Swirls, that's fine. You like Crystal and Karis, that's fine. What do I tell black women about their options then?
I mean, kind of what they said, you make it seem like the only options that black women have is black men. Which shouldn't be so.
Wrong.
And Kevin,
see, that just shows you don't watch my. No, that just shows you don't watch my content. Absolutely, 100% false. Ma'am, just say you don't like black men. You have an issue with black men, but don't lie and say that I said something I didn't say.
No, and I'm not. But even you said if every black man got married, it would still be 10 million black women left. I mean, let's just be realistic. It's not enough.
No. Let's be realistic. If every man got married, there would still be unmarried women. There's not enough women for men, period.
I agree with that, and that's with every race. And then when you say, black women have to be a size 4 and size 6.
No. We're gonna stick on this black woman and our options thing. Tell me where I've said black women's only option are black men. Tell me where I've said that.
Because you never talked about interracial dating.
Tell me where I've said that. No, ma'am. No. I have not said that. Matter of fact, I've said I don't care who you date. Date the best of whatever you can get. You're wrong. You're outright wrong. But that doesn't matter. I'm sitting here telling you you're wrong. I'm asking you to tell me where I said it, and you can't even be woman enough to say, you know what? I'm sorry, sir. I did not listen to your content, and you're telling me I said something I didn't, and you can't prove it because I didn't say it.
You don't have to be angry at me. Why are you so?
I'm very angry when black women like you decide to go around and lie on a black man like myself. That's why you came over to Obsidian's channel to defend Crystal Swirls and Crystal and Karis from their attacks. I like
Crystal Swirls because I think Crystal Swirls is.
I don't care what Crystal Swirls does. Crystal Swirls has come over to my channel, and I said let her rock out and say what she want to. She wasn't blocked; she could say what she want to. Crystal and Karis came over here, was treated with nothing but respect. I even gave her a wrench, ma'am. You're simply wrong. You don't know me. You don't watch my content, but you speak on me, calling me this and that and fag and gay and niggas and all this other kind of shit. Ma'am, it's black women like you that make black men not like black women like you. When you're wrong, you can't even admit it. Instead of just admitting you're wrong, you want to try to deflect and go on to the next subject. Just admit you're wrong.
But I don't feel like I am because I feel like a lot of times.
Well, tell me where I said it then.
I'm not just talking about that in particular.
No, I'm talking about that. I'm talking about this. See, that's what women like to do. Tell me where I said black women's only option is to date black men.
That's what you make it seem like.
I did not make it seem like that. That is wrong.
But that's what you make it seem like, Kevin.
That is wrong. That is wrong. You don't watch my content. I know what I say. And see, and I'm doing this for a very specific reason, black women. I want you to hear that this black woman refuses to back off of a position that is patently wrong. It still matters more what she feels than what the truth is.
I just feel that you are hard on black women. You know, I feel like you're very
I'm hard on black women like you when you lie on black men with no remorse. If I was anti-dating out, why would I invite Crystal and Carson onto my platform? Go to the day she came on and listen to what I said. Why don't you just admit you're wrong, man?
Well, if I'm wrong, I apologize. If I'm wrong or if I misunderstood your content, I do apologize. I do.
And if you're wrong about this, you're wrong about a lot of stuff. And my question is this: why is it so easy for you to sit back and talk about me in a way with such certitude when you don't watch what I do, but you're willing to go other places and talk about me when you don't watch what I say?
Because the content creators say that, you know, this.
I don't care what they say. I ask you why you do it. You're responsible as an adult for what you say about other people. You can't come home and tell me, well, because they did it, I did it. You're a grown woman.
You're right. You're right.
See, what people say about somebody matters. Many of those two women you mentioned have come over here and been treated rudely. I don't care about dating out. I say date make yourself the best version of yourself and then date whoever you choose to. I've said that since day one.
And then another thing, like when you talk about women's sizes and stuff, most black women, and even you notice yourself, isn't a size 4, isn't a size 6.
Well,
that's today.
Feel that that's today, but that's not what it used to be.
But I feel like you can be a size 10 and look good. You can be a size 12 and look good.
Okay.
You know, I know that in y'all's world,
man.
that's
okay. But who's the judge? Is it women or men?
Men are usually the judge because men are usually the ones that pick what they like or whatever.
Right. And what has happened as women's weight have gone up, marriages have gone down.
But see, most black men say that they like curvy women, so it's like
as women's weight have gone up, I said marriages have gone down. I don't concern myself with hooking up, dealing. I concern myself with marriages because that's what we can verify.
But a lot of black men don't want to get married. A lot of them they don't like marriage, and they don't like family.
That's not true. Black men are more married than black women, and there are fewer black men are more married than black women, and there are fewer black men. See, man, what you're proving is you believe a lot of propaganda and a lot of misinformation and honestly a lot of lies. Coming over here saying black men don't want to get married. I got a Facebook group that's been up for less than 6 months. 8 black couples and 3 engagements in under 6 months. That's more than any one of those 2 people you just mentioned. And I'm not in that business. Oh, black men get with black women, by the way.
But that's not what I hear. I hear on.
That's not what I don't care what you hear.
But that's not what the swirlers say. That's not what the swirlers say.
Excuse me?
That's not what the swirlers say. The swirlers.
And what do they say?
They said that a lot of times y'all get with Becky, and Becky be like 300 or 400 pounds. But then y'all talk about a black woman being skinny. But a lot of times when y'all date white women, they're fat. Sometimes they're actually bigger than black.
So how old are you?
36.
36. You're a grown, middle-aged black woman, and you're telling me that you're judging black men based on what some other black women say versus what black men say about themselves.
But see, these black women are older than me, and I listen to them.
And black men, and there's no fool like an old fool. They're wrong. See, here's the thing. What you saying, what the swirlers say, when you go out in your own world, you don't see black men with overweight black women. You see most groups of people are with each other. 80+% of black men, 85% of black men are married to black women. Ma'am, you're just wrong. You believe a lot of BS. And you keep putting it off on what the swirlers say. You are a grown, middle-aged black woman responsible for what you say, what you see. You can't put this off on what somebody else did. You're repeating it.
But Kevin, I see it myself a lot of times. You know, when they say a lot of black men,
is it the
when they say a lot of black guys,
is it the majority?
But when they say that a lot of black men are colorists, they are.
No, see, you've tried to move the goalposts. Look at what has happened, folks. Listen to what has happened. Listen to what has happened, people. She's come in here trying to say that I've told black women not to exercise or date out. Then she said I talk about weight. Then she's tried to go to black men dating white women. Now she's trying to go to the colorism. No, ma'am, I don't allow women to just skip. You have been wrong at each step. You've been wrong, proven wrong, factually wrong, every point. And instead of just relenting, you keep wanting to go to the next point. Rolanda, you're wrong. Black men are with black women, like white men are with white women, like Hispanic men are with Hispanic women, etc. The facts go against everything you're talking about. The data goes against everything you're talking about. So what you see anecdotally in your little corner of the world is irrelevant to the truth. And as the middle-aged black woman, you're responsible for what comes out of your mouth. You want black men to be responsible for what they say about black women, don't you?
Yeah, because I feel like a lot of times
do you or don't you? Do you want black men to be responsible with what they say about black women?
Yeah.
Then you need to do the same damn thing.
But my thing, Kevin, is, and I'm not trying to be mean, but how can you praise a group of people that don't even like you? That's crazy.
Praise a group of people? What are you talking about? Praise a group of people like who?
Praising black men when a lot of times they don't like me, they overlook me. So why am I praising a group?
Well, let me ask you a question then. Let me ask you a question. First off, I can't deal with the group, but let me ask you. If you say black men don't like you, have you asked them why?
No, I never asked why, because
hold on. Are you? Did you go to college?
Huh?
Did you go to college?
Did I go to college? No.
Okay, but you have a job.
Yes, I got a full-time job. Yeah.
Okay, so if you had a restaurant and you served chicken,
and
you put it in the middle of a place where people eat chicken, but nobody's coming to your chicken restaurant, would you say that these people over here just don't like chicken? These people are fucked up because they don't eat my chicken because I'm black? Or would you go out to the neighborhood or the consumers and ask them, have you tried my chicken? When you tried it, what did you think about it? Did you like it? What can I do to improve my chicken so you'll come buy it? What would you do if you own that business? Would you curse out the potential customers, or would you try to, give them out, or would you try to find out why they're not buying your chicken because they seem to be buying it from other places?
I would want to know why, but 9 times out of 10, they're not supporting your business.
Hold on, stop right there. See what you just did? Is you tried to go back to what you already believe, your confirmation bias. Stop. It's point one. You go back and ask them. I asked you. Have you ever asked the black men that you date or whatever why they don't want to date you? The answer
they don't like me. My thing is, and I'm
why?
not angry.
Why?
I don't know. But you know,
hold on, stop. Let me tell you. You need to ask them why, because they're the ones who dated you and they can tell you. But it seems to be what you've done with me is you would rather make up a story and go find evidence to support the story other than find out the truth. Because once you find out the truth, you can fix it. But if you make up a story, you don't have to do anything.
No. But what I'm saying to you, Kevin, is I've heard things from other content creators. I'm not saying that, this is.
I'm talking about you and dating.
Oh Lord,
you've switched all over the place. I'm very good at staying on track. You said, why would you praise a group of men who don't like you? I'm asking you who? You said black men.
Exactly.
You said black men. I said, I can't speak for all black
Exactly.
men. I can only speak to the black men you've dated. Have you dated black men? Yes. Have you asked them why they don't like to continue to date you? You said no. Why didn't you ask them what the problem was?
Because it's always that group of men. I don't have a problem.
Why didn't you ask the men? He didn't answer the question. See, you understood the logic in the chicken restaurant.
Mhm.
But you don't want to put the same logic when it comes to black men. So that proves you understand how this works. Do you make room for the possibility that maybe the black men are responding to the fact that you don't like them? Because just like a restaurateur would go ask the customers what the problem is so they can make the restaurant better, you sound like the restaurateur who will cuss the customers out for not buying. Because effectively, when you talk about black men, you cussing them out for not buying your chicken instead of asking them, what's wrong with my chicken? Because you saying everybody else like my chicken. Well, if that's the case, where's your husband? Uh-oh. Where's Brad? Where's Leah, Mayor, Keith, and Enrique? Where's your non-black husband?
Oh Lord.
Well, because 80% of the time people marry their own race. So I don't concern myself with people dating each other because dating don't matter. Ben Affleck dated J-Lo, but he married Jennifer Gardner.
Yeah.
Boston white man married a white woman, not big booty J-Lo.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe, just maybe, you need to ask black men what the problem is. But I would tell you, based upon how you've addressed me, approached me, spoken to me, you've come at me in bad faith, with ill intent, and had no problem saying it. Maybe, just maybe, black men are responding to your animus, your contempt, and lack of respect for the overall black male image that they didn't do. Because see, if I had approached you the way you've talked to me on other places, I would have brought you on here and cussed you out. Instead, I made a few jokes, but I kept you there and I brought you back on to talk to you with respect like a person, just like I did to Crystal and Carrison, just like I gave to Crystal Swirls, because I don't fear any of the stuff you think any of the stuff you're talking about. I'm the man I say I am. Black men are not your enemy. Black men are not your enemy. Black men are not your enemy.
That.
Well, and the thing is, I don't begrudge swirlers or dating out, but at the end of the day, they're not enough of any group dating out for any group to get more than 50%.
I agree with that.
If that's the case, make yourself the best version of yourself possible and then exercise your options. But at the end of the day, if men aren't choosing you, they're not buying what you're selling. The problem ain't the men. The problem is the product. All right, man. I got to get on to the next person, but thanks for coming by.
Okay.
Stop talking bad about me.
I'm sorry.
This call starts tense from the jump. A 36-year-old woman calls in after repeating things she heard about Kevin on other platforms, claiming he limits black women's options and speaks harshly about them. When he asks if she actually watches his content, she admits she mostly listens to what other women say. Kevin immediately challenges her to prove where he ever said black women should only date black men. She can't. Instead, she pivots, first to interracial dating, then to weight standards, then to claims that black men don't want marriage. Kevin counters each point with data, stating black men are married at higher rates than black women and that most people marry within their race. When she repeats swirl narratives about black men choosing overweight white women and brings up colorism, Kevin calls out the constant goalpost moving. He points out that she values what other women say over facts and still refuses to fully admit she was wrong. The exchange peaks when she says black men overlook her. Kevin delivers the chicken restaurant analogy, asking if she's ever asked men why they didn't continue dating her. She admits she hasn't. He argues that attacking the market instead of improving the product guarantees the same outcome. The call ends with Kevin emphasizing accountability over feelings, leaving the audience to decide. What this call really reveals is how quickly some women grab onto a version of events that protects their pride instead of checking whether the claim is even accurate. If something sounds harsh, it gets labeled as hate. If it feels uncomfortable, the man delivering it must be flawed. In this case, she admitted she did not truly watch his content, yet repeated strong accusations with confidence. When Kevin asked for proof, the topic kept shifting, from dating options to weight to interracial dynamics to marriage rates. The original claim never got backed up. It also shows how their feelings can outrank facts. Verified data about marriage patterns was presented, but personal anecdotes were treated as stronger evidence. "That's what I see" became the defense, even when numbers said otherwise. That mindset makes correction difficult because emotion becomes the standard. Another layer here is avoidance of direct feedback. She said black men overlook her, yet never ask those men why. In business, you would ask customers why they are not buying. In dating, many avoid that step. When results disappoint, the blame spreads outward before they examine themselves. Fellas, take this seriously. Some women carry unresolved frustration from past relationships, poor decisions, and lingering hurt, and it shows up in how they deal with you. You walk in thinking it is a clean slate, but you step into emotional residue that had nothing to do with you. Suddenly, you are being questioned for things another man did, compared to someone you never met, and evaluated like you are trying to repair damage you never caused. Small moments escalate because the real issue began before you arrived. That kind of dynamic drains your time, focus, resources, and peace of mind. You cannot correct history that was written before you. You also cannot compete with a narrative already fixed in someone's mind. Listen carefully to how she speaks about men, former partners, and accountability. If responsibility is always pushed outward and self-reflection rarely appears, you risk carrying consequences that existed before your name ever entered the picture. Ladies, disagreement does not equal hostility. Hearing something uncomfortable does not automatically mean the speaker is against you. Relationships function in pairs. If men repeatedly disengage or lose interest, that calls for reflection before blame. Online spaces often amplify division because outrage attracts attention. That energy spreads fast, but it rarely builds stable partnerships. Be intentional about which voices influence how you view black men. Not every message framed as empowerment leads to growth. Some simply amplify frustration. Pause before repeating claims. Verify before adopting narratives. A woman who can reflect and adjust expands her options. Guard your mindset and build from truth instead of emotion. That's all for today. If this conversation made you think, make sure you like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. And don't forget to check out Kevin Samuel's original channel. We've got to keep his legacy and message relevant so future generations can access it and learn.